Welcome back to Giggleboys. I am your host, Eli Halpern.
And I'm Mike Eaton.
And this is episode 4.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah.
You should do a 3 and then a 4.
Just keep going up.
Yeah.
Just add 1.
I like your kimono.
Thanks, man. I got it in Thailand for like $3.
That's awesome. Did it come off of a ladyboy after you fucked them?
It was before.
It was before?
We should do an episode 4.5.
Yeah.
Just to throw everyone off.
Yeah, we could like interview a famous headliner or something. Call it episode 4.5.
Just give them the least amount of respect.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, I wanted to start off talking about a funny text I got.
A scene behind the curtains.
From an unnamed person, about an unnamed person. It's a screenshot of this girl I know, of her Instagram profile. And it said, this girl one time walked into a party and said, who wants to have sex with me? And 2 guys got in a fight who called dibs while a 3rd guy fucked her. And now she follows you and Gary and the podcast at a ghetto party in Irving, Texas.
That's awesome.
So that was hilarious.
Yeah. Okay, so
we can move on from that. I just had to.
No. We're not moving on from that. Because the unnamed person who sent that text message is me. I think we were trying to keep that secret, but I was at a party. My buddy that I went to school with, this guy Ethan. Ethan was such an anomaly. His dad was an Olympic swimmer and was supposed to go to the Olympics the year we boycotted the Olympics. So his dad was like, the Olympics, and then no, because politics. So that's like, and then Ethan lives in like rich white neighborhood, but it just so happens to include the Section 8 housing in their school. So there's also some gangsters. And Ethan is the member of a gang called YTG, which stands for Young Throwed Gorillas. Yep. And they would fight, and we would go to like under 18 nightclubs where they had no alcohol, and we would just try and hit on girls and have parties. And we were out in Ranchview, and we go to an after party, and we're all drinking at this apartment and like just having a good time being unsupervised 17-year-olds. And this girl walks into the party, and she opens the door, and she goes, who wants to have sex with me? And these 2 dudes over here are like, me! And the other guy's like, no, me! And then he's like, I'll set it first! And they just start scrapping. Like, they're like punching each other over this shit. I'm like, what? And then this other dude walks in, he's like, hey, baby. And then takes her upstairs. So she goes up to fuck him while these 2 dudes are fighting. I'm like, no fucking way. That's crazy. And I just remembered her name. Because, like, that's a crazy situation. And I'm looking at our podcast, I'm like, let's get some more followers, get some more people to listen to it. It's like, that's her? Like, there's no way it's the same one, but it's a unique name. And I looked at her profile, I was like, that's her. That's the who wants to have sex. And I sent it to you, and I guess that upset her.
Oh, yeah, so then I laughed my ass off.
Yeah, of course. It's very funny.
I took a screenshot, and then I sent it to her.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says, I got raped. Wait, let me... Let me read the conversation.
I'm not laughing at rape. I'm laughing at how you said it. She says, I got raped. Wait. Let me fact check this.
Let me read the conversation. Then she says, I was sexually assaulted in high school by 2 of my best guy friends, so I handled it the only way I knew how, by becoming kind of slutty and taking my power back. I'm sure he remembers it differently than it actually happened, but I won't apologize. Been in therapy for years all about it. This shit isn't funny for me, but very triggering for my rape. Please don't then send things like this to me. Really disheartening. And I was like, oh, so now I'm the asshole? And then I was like, maybe you just like dick. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing. Also, like,
she's made a lot of people happy.
But the thing is, yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
And then I said, don't get upset. It's funny. And then she said, I'm glad you think it's funny. What are you doing?
She's trying to get that.
You want to hang
out? No, dude, that's what I don't get. Is like,
and I was like, no, because you have handled this in a way that is unsafe for me.
That seems like your type.
She's like, no, I'm very careful.
Oh.
And I was like, I know people who have came in you within a 12-hour period. And she's like, I get tested all the time. That's not being safe. That's just dealing with the problem after. That's like saying, I don't get pregnant, I have abortions. You still got pregnant.
I trust her. I trust the girl that says, I don't get pregnant, I have abortions, because she knows what to do. But like, what I don't get about that text message is she's like, it's very triggering to me to hear about me being a slut because that was how I took my power back. But like, I think that's like one of the most empowering things you can do as a lady in these modern ages. Like, yeah, it's my pussy. I choose who gets in and out of it. And if I want to go into a party and be like, who wants to fuck? every guy at some point in their life has wished they could walk into a party and then have women fighting over the opportunity to fuck them.
Yeah.
And she went and did that, and then you tell her about it because it's funny, and she's like, that's very triggering of the time that I didn't want that to happen.
I see where she's coming from because it's very triggering for me.
Well, everyone's seen where she's coming from. That's kind of what this is about.
Because I am very triggered hearing about myself from a couple years ago.
Oh, sure.
Or even like yesterday.
Yeah, Facebook's rude as hell. Just, hey, 8 years ago, remember when you said this? Like,
yeah, Facebook memories are the worst.
Oh, God.
I'm so glad we didn't have like Instagram and Snapchat back then. Because the shit I would have been posting.
That's why I love TikTok so much, is because I know had I been 15 with TikTok, I would have been making those videos like the guy that pretends to get a phone call from his sister saying, brother, he hit me. And then this little skinny redneck dude, he turns his hat around and then he just goes at the camera. He's like, I'm strong at the camera. That's the whole TikTok.
My TikTok would have been me throwing bricks through windows and letting off fire extinguishers.
Oh, that sounds like fun. We should make a TikTok.
We'll TikTok about it later.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. Like, but I get it, like, her being upset, and like I don't want to like burst her bubble. And
yeah,
like,
she's a really nice girl.
Yeah, and like that's the thing too, is like I wasn't saying it like a negative thing about her. It was just like, what a small world that this girl that from a school of like a graduating class of like 600 in a small fucking town in Northwest Texas, like that I would have happened to be at the same party. The girl that doesn't follow me follows you, our producer, and the podcast.
Yeah, you weren't coming from a place of disrespect. You're just like,
No.
what a coincidence.
Yeah, and then you're like, all my friends cummed in her. And I'm like, that's nuts. I can't believe. She's probably not going to follow the podcast anymore.
She's probably going to follow it even more.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to see who else I can fuck on that followers list. Oh, man. I don't know. Shout out to sluts. They're making the world a better place. Yeah, cheers to them.
So, cheers to you. Last night, Kill Tony came back.
You did.
If you don't know what Kill Tony is, it is the
Then
number
kill
one
yourself.
live podcast. It's a comedy show hosted by Tony Hinchcliffe. It used to be in the Comedy Store. They'd have a surprise guest every time on the panel. And basically, you get 60 seconds to do material, and then they interview you. And the goal is pretty much to roast you and make you feel like shit.
Yeah, it's just a super high-stakes, short-term open mic is what it is. Because anybody can sign up. And also, they built a culture of like encouraging people to do their very first time there.
Which I
So you
hate.
get everything from people like, William Montgomery and David Lucas and people that are like good and become regulars and have like performed for a while, to people that are like, well, I just like comedy and people at the office tell me I'm funny.
I like that you called William Montgomery good.
Well, I mean, all right. I mean,
He's hilarious.
he is. I think he's fucking
I
hilarious.
fucking love him. The thing is he's the exact same in person.
Yeah.
Like he'll just go on these rants of these stories that never happened, and then talk about it like he's like talking about a movie. He'll just be like, "So yeah, I'm working at the La Quinta Inn, and then a freeze frame, cue Peg by Steely Dan."
Dude, that's that's one of the things I probably missed. I said this to you the other day, and you looked at me like I was insane. It's like, dude, I kind of miss L.A. Like, I don't miss L.A. now. I miss the
old LA.
Do you remember like going down to the store on a Monday? You get there early, you sign up for potluck, you sign up for Kill Tony, you walk down to Carney's, you get a fucking Thai chicken wrap because it's the secret best thing on the menu, and then you get 2 ice cream sandwiches, 3 if you're me, and then you walk back and you just eat your ice cream sandwiches and you just hope to do comedy, and then you stay out till 2 or 3 a.m.
And then you don't.
You don't.
But it's
usually.
fun. It's still fun.
You watch other people and you're like, fuck, I'm so much better than that person.
Yeah.
I should be up there. And they're like, I think I did good. And you're like, ah!
So yeah, Kill Tony came back for the first time in 10 months. I was on it once before. My clip is on this channel if you want to watch it. It's called Kill Tony.
Yeah.
And
imagine that.
And so yeah, they had been out since quarantine started. This was their first one back. It was in Austin at Antoine's.
Antone's. Yeah. No, just Antone's. That was nice though. You did this thing that you always seem to. What I don't understand is that like you have like just this like Star of David magnet in your body that just brings free things to you. Like we go and we sign up at like 6:30, so we got an hour to wait, and we walk over to Speakeasy to get a drink, and you tell the girl behind the bar, I want something fruity and feminine. And then she looks at both of us, she's like, isn't that what he's gonna order? There's no way the fat guy with blonde hair is not getting that drink. And then you're like, hey, can I have some of those Sour Patch Kids or whatever? She had a giant bag
she
of
had
candy.
that 2-pound bag of Sour Patch Kids that I ate.
She's like, it's my personal stash, but you can have some. And then she gives you Sour Patch Kids, and then you keep talking to her, and then she's like, well, part of this drink is flat, so it's free. And then she adds shit to it to make it good. You thoroughly enjoy the drink and pay $0 for it.
That's the third time that's happened this week, too. I went into Cava, that Mediterranean place, which is delicious, and I asked for some grilled veggies, and they were like, oh, those won't be ready for 15 minutes. And I was like, that's cool. I'll just have them on the side when they're ready. Could I have them for free since it's going to take that long? And he's just like, you can have the whole bowl for free. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, what? Thanks, man. And I just walked away with the bowl.
Dude, it's very small scale of what's just happening with like PPP loans. Like Joel Osteen definitely didn't need $4 million, but they're like, have it, Joel. They're like, you definitely don't need a free veggie bowl.
Well, and then I went to the smoke shop today. I got a Puff Bar, and the guy was just like out of his mind, super friendly. I was like, what do we do? How's it doing? And then he was just like, here, on the house. And I was just like, what?
Dude, that smoke shop you went to, Happy Clouds, dude, shout out to them. They do a great even like all of their employees could be who you're talking about because all of them are just crazy happy.
They make me feel welcome.
They enjoy what they're doing.
So yeah, the Kill Tony list, normally back in LA, it's like 20 pages deep.
Yeah, at least.
The place is packed with people trying to get on. This time, there was like maybe 15 people there? It was a 1-page sign-up list.
There were 3. There were 3 pages when we got there for sign-up.
I only saw one
he
filled out.
He said the final number was 80 people had signed up. But I think
he was lying.
I think also like a majority of those people were audience members that bought a ticket, signed up to try and do it, and then just sat inside to watch. Because there were a lot of people, because I got there at like 6:15, and there were people that were outside, they'd sign their name up, and then they'd go inside. And then there was all of those comics that were like, we're going to spend $30.
Well, he said there was 80 people waiting outside in the cold.
Yeah.
There was like 10 of us.
And it was like 70.
It was,
it was fine outside. It was
nice.
But, yeah, I mean, I definitely missed the old band, because there used to be so much banter.
Oh, yeah. So
the band.
So the vibe was not right at this Kill Tony. It was not at the store, very small crowd. The band was not there. They had another band that was playing music, but
they were good.
They were good at music.
Yeah.
They did not say a word. And that's like half the fun, like Jeremiah and Joel, and I forgot who the other guy is. And
Jet Ski Johnson and Chroma Chris.
Oh yeah. Jet Ski Johnson replaced, so she like hopped on.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're all fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And they're all popping in and saying shit. And Tony
and
was
they all
really
dress up like shit.
And they stay in character.
Yeah.
And they're really talented.
They're so good.
And Tony was the only one roasting people.
Well, Red Band dropped in with a couple drops. Like, I remember someone said something about Judaism, and then he played, like, Nagila Hava or something.
Yeah, he does the sound clips,
yeah.
But he's not really, like, a roast comic.
Yeah, that was one of the things, too, that I used to miss. Like, William Montgomery did it a little bit. He did a joke, said something about black people, and then pointed to, the black guy in the band and was like, he told me to say it. That was, like, the only band banter that happened the whole night, was that guy being like, oh, I didn't do it. But
yeah, so we waited there for a while.
A long time.
And you were like, fuck this, I'm going home.
Well, dude, it got to the point, like, they called up a couple people I knew, and then they called up that guy that
And everyone bombed.
Yeah, I mean, like, no one was doing good, and, like, it just felt like they were going to call 1 or 2 more comics, and I was just like, it's probably not going to be me, and I'm just going to be standing out here. I'm done with my White Claws. Like,
I just remember the first time I went to Kill Tony with Malik Bazil, I did that same thing, and we both got called after I left. So I was like, I'm not going to risk that again.
Yeah.
So I put down 2 names, as I always do, Octavius Thunder and Eli Halpern. Octavius Thunder started at the first Kill Tony. Uh-huh. That's where that came from. I don't know why I chose that name. But that was the one that got chosen. So I was like, that name's got some luck to it or something.
Octavius Thunder exactly describes your music taste. Like, that name makes the most sense with what you listen to.
So they call Octavius Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
And I get up, I do my jokes. They do okay. Like I said, the crowd was already pretty worn down. The interview went decent. I was really like, I don't know, I'm like high strung. I'm just like ready to get my jokes out and just ready to be funny and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And Tony commented a couple times like, you got a lot of energy. Like, what's going on? You on drugs or something? And I was like,
Who, me? I wouldn't do a drugs.
I don't know. I opened up like way too much about like who I was as a person, and then I end up getting like anxiety about it after.
Yeah, you called me afterwards and you're like, where can I watch a video? And I was like, well, it's not live anymore. It comes out a week later, and you're like, fuck! Dude, I don't...
The best roast was, I told him about the cricket bar protein I was working on, and he's like, what, so you're making food out of crickets? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, I sure hear a lot of them in the audience. And I was like, yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, it's a good joke. Look at this.
And thanks. Shout out to Aspen for bringing me drinks.
Yeah. I don't know what you're saying. I can't read lips. In a minute, yeah, that would be amazing. I have this thing.
I think he wants to blow you.
Where like, so that's the other thing. That's what I was just about to say. Like, I have this thing when like I read people's lips. 90% of the time, I get it wrong and very sexual.
Yeah,
like,
if you were a
be
bartender,
like,
you'd be blowing
can
everyone.
You pass the Parmesan cheese, and I'm like, you want me to suck your dick? Like what? And they're like, Parmesan. And you're like, blowjob? Like what are you, what?
That's why we never went back to Olive Garden.
Yeah. Yeah. And also just because it's just offensive that free unlimited breadsticks, that's mean.
Yeah.
That's just mean to do to someone like me. Of course I'm going to have several bowls. Like,
let's see. And then Red Band kept doing the cricket sound after I told jokes.
yeah. Well, it's like a 5-year-old. When they find something funny, they just run it into the ground. Like, oh, it worked.
And then someone tried to heckle me by yelling cocaine twice.
That's pretty good.
And after the second time, I was like, hey, shut the fuck up.
I would have been like, do you have some? Share.
And then Tony was like, wow, you're not getting mad at this guy for doing that, but you're getting mad at this guy for saying cocaine. I'm like, well, he said it twice. Like, if you're going to heckle, like, switch it up. Be creative.
Heroin. What if he, like, started getting really obscure? Just started yelling out designer drugs. 2CH. What?
What is Austin? A place where, despite all the beauty, people still want to do horse tranquilizers.
Yeah. You know, I've heard on the scene out now, what's very popular is drinking GHB. And people in Austin, like I've heard at several clubs where people will be like, hey, do you want to drink? Like, no, I'm on GHB. I can't drink. It's like, all right, so you took a drug to go to bars that you can't drink on. And the penalty, if you do succumb to peer pressure, is you get day raped.
Near death.
Yeah, you just go complete blackout.
You puke and pass out and you can't talk.
I've never done it intentionally.
I have, and I overdosed.
Well, good. Good. That would
and
be
no one even raped me. It was a fucking ripoff.
It's a complete ripoff. That's how I felt when I got roofied. I remember distinctly the first thought I had after waking up in the ambulance was like, man, someone really wasted those drugs.
Well, all the people...
like, I was the wrong target for
all the
sure.
people that I know that do GHB do it because they don't want to... They want to be healthy by not doing alcohol. Because GHB is like a natural chemical in your release in your brain.
Georgia homeboy.
Who comes up with these?
I don't know, man. I used to Google nicknames for drugs when I was younger to try and be cool. But then, like, the first time you're like, hey, let me get some of that jazz cabbage. Your drug dealer's like, hey, man, fuck you. Are you a cop? Like, did you say jazz cabbage? Like, you're 16, bud. Like, why are you talking about, like, Prohibition era weed? What are you ordering?
Hey, get out of my car, Duke Ellington.
Oh, man. Dude, I had one of the best dinners of my entire life tonight. It's one of the greatest things about being married to Brittany is that she works at Uchiko, which is like the best sushi restaurant in the world. But at the end of our meal, the chef, I hang out with one of their chefs a little bit, and he brought us like a special treat. It was 72 hours sous vide Wagyu short rib, and then they finished it on the grill, and then they put Gruyere foam and shaved black truffles on top. Like, after I put that in my mouth, you could have kicked me full on in the nuts, and I would have smiled. I'm like, this is fine.
I would have been like, this is going to hurt after I'm done swallowing.
Like, whatever.
That's what she said. Can I ask how much that meal cost?
I have no idea. I have no idea whatsoever. I didn't have to pay for it. My mom was taking someone to business dinner and was like, hey, Mike, you're entertaining. Come entertain us at dinner. And I was like, yeah, doing that. The worst part, though, is after I eat this, it's called gyutoro. So after I eat this piece,
it was gone.
My mom goes,
that's always the worst
I
part
remember that face when you were 14, you were at church camp and you were running and you poked your eye on a stick and had a corneal abrasion and we took you to the hospital. I remember they gave you a shot of morphine and you made that same face. I was like, oh, cool, Mom.
Well, there is a chemical in cheese called casein that's supposed to activate opioid receptors.
I'm in. that is the opioid crisis I'm in for. Like, it started in Wisconsin. I'd smoke a cheese curd. I would put like a cheese. Oh man, I went to Holdout Brewing the other day. They do poutine there. I don't know when the last time you had poutine was, but it's been too long. Never?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Fries, gravy, cheese curds.
Oh, poor people food.
Canadian Joy. It's like the third best thing they made after Justin Bieber and Ryan Reynolds.
Do you know how much the Canadian dollar is worth? They're poor.
That's fine. It makes all the Scholastic book prices look fancy. Like, this book's $19.95, but $30 in Canada? I'm rich.
Whose joke was that? Canada, free healthcare, expensive books, or something like that.
Well, if that was someone's joke, they should quit comedy.
No.
That's truly
It was like Dimitri Martin or something.
He's funny.
Dimitri Martin is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he is. That's like almost like a different kind of comedy that I feel like what I'm even trying to do.
Oh, absolutely.
He's so smart and just like every word is good. And then I guess what I'm doing is bad. So, like, I don't know. I want to tell stories.
You're just trying to polish a turd.
I think really like my whole goal when I get on stage is to just have the same kind of one-sided conversation I have with people when I've done too much cocaine and we're alone in the bathroom. You know, when I'm like telling that really funny story and everyone's like, I fucking love that. That's the energy I'm going for on stage.
The energy I'm going for is when I'm on a date with a really boring girl and I got to carry the conversation. So it's kind of similar.
I can't, because I know how little you care for social norms and like politeness. So I would love to see like what happens when you're like, all right, this bitch is boring. I got to spice things up.
I do comedy.
You just like pull out your flamethrower and
I literally do comedy. I start doing bits.
That's awesome. She's like, how come my mom says I'm cute but only fucks all my friends? She's like, what?
No, I don't do one-liners.
That'd
be hilarious.
Yeah, for sure.
She'd be like,
I'm so Jewish I have a mullet so I don't have to trim my neck. And she's like, what?
Oh yeah, I did that at Kill Tony, and they really hammered on that. They were like really trying to interrogate my Judaism, and I was like, oh, I don't want to get into this.
Well, yeah, because you look like if Hitler saw you, he'd be like, I got to rethink this whole thing.
I don't want to get into this.
They can come out like that. That looks pretty arrogant.
Yeah, no, my whole thing was I was saying that I got that the Jew card is like my victim role because I'm like a tall, in shape white dude. I need something to be like, well, my fucking ancestors died in the Holocaust.
They didn't. You guys
don't know that.
I'm pretty sure if you got your 23andMe, it would just say Banks all the way back. Like, there's no way you guys were suffering at any point. The last time your ancestors suffered was building the pyramids, like for sure.
So you're saying my ancestors are aliens?
Yeah, that would be also kind
of.
That
would make
Jewish.
a lot of sense.
Oh.
When I was in kindergarten, I used to tell everyone I was a Martian because I really wanted to be an alien. Mm-hmm. And my teacher wrote my mom home saying, like, I'm really worried about your kid. He thinks he's an alien.
Yeah, I don't know how you'd handle that as a teacher. My teachers were upset because I started signing my names on all my assignments as different team members from Backyard Football, the computer game.
Pablo Sanchez?
Yeah, exactly. There was one that was like something... Her name was like Star Moon, and I just thought like that's a cool name, and I think I put Star Moon on like several papers, and the teacher would be like, "Hey, who's Star?" Like, that's me. Like, no, you're Mike. I'm like, oh, I'm Star Moon. Like, dude, I was thinking about this the other day. Your kimono reminds me of this because you wore that the first time you performed. Do you remember the Shanghai room?
Yeah.
In Huntington Beach. So after like all the COVID stuff started happening, Orange County became like a national like source of attention because they were super anti-mask.
Yeah, HB became like Trump Town.
Yeah, and they always have been. They've always been very conservative.
I didn't know. Nobody like knew that.
Well, it's because they have like the people there are either rich and have money, so they want to have like their money protected by Republicans, or they're like that kind of like the beach white trash where they think they're like a temporary displaced millionaire. So like, well, I'll be rich soon, and that's when Trump's going to look out for me. But
They don't talk like that at all.
Some of them do. There was that guy.
There's no southern accent.
There was 100%. There was 100%. There was a guy who was an Asian guy. And
an Asian guy with a southern accent.
Asian guy with a southern
California.
accent. I swear on my fucking life. His name was Bill. No, never mind. No, his friend was Bill. He came in with a guy whose name on his license was Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton set the record for the breathalyzer in the bar. And one night, like, he put a straw in there and blew it, and it blew a .38. And then he just kept talking to people, and they took his keys, and then someone got in an argument at the bar, and then they're looking around, they're like, where's Bill? And he's driving away. They're like, how did Bill get his keys? They're like, we don't know. Bill snuck behind the bar,
He's Asian.
took his keys,
he
and
figured
drove
something
away.
out.
No, but there was the Asian guy.
I don't believe any of this.
He would show up at every fucking comedy night, and he would sing karaoke afterwards, and he would sing nothing but like 90s country, and he was an Asian dude.
I probably met him.
You definitely met him.
Wait, you remember when that lady came up to me? This is the best time I've ever been, or the only time I've ever been recognized for doing comedy. She comes up to me, she's like, hey, fetus fucker. Yeah. And I was like, what? She's like, you're the fetus fucker guy, right? I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, you did comedy here last week. And I was like, oh, yeah. I'm the fetus fucker guy. I think she follows me on Instagram still.
Dude,
She's a teacher.
Yeah.
She's the first grade teacher.
She was.
And she
gets
blacked
wrecked.
out every night.
Every Tuesday.
Every like elementary school teacher I know is a terrible person.
Dude, elementary teachers and paramedics, they get fucked up, dude. Like, I have met when I was in that 12-step program, one of my buddies used to talk about these two paramedic chicks that he just like would bang and give drugs to, and they would just steal copious amounts of pills and like that, and they were like, that's what we do. That's what paramedics do. I was like,
yeah.
Now that's all of you in my head.
I have a paramedic friend who matches up to that description.
Yeah. I bet I think that's probably why. Like,
last time I saw him, he had a saline bag and was just IVing people the next morning.
What a hero.
Which apparently is super illegal to do off the job.
Who cares?
But he was brought me back to life, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's why like insider trading is good. But but so I was thinking about Huntington Beach because and I realized it's something we have in common. We're both technically ordained ministers.
What does that have to do with Huntington Beach?
I got ordained because at Huntington, I ran that show, and it was every Tuesday, and there was that couple that would sit in the front row right in front of that blackout drunk teacher, and they would, like, start at the beginning of the show, and they would start making out at some point during the show. Like, every fucking show, these two would just be making out in the front row, and, like, comics half the time be like, hey, y'all want to go just fuck back there? Like, what are you doing? So one time we found out they were both married and were cheating on their spouse with each other. So this was like their weekly, like,
oh yeah,
sneaky fuck. They were like, hey, we're going to go to the Shanghai room and go make out and watch comedy.
How romantic.
So I was like, what I'll do is I'll get ordained as a minister. I'll pretend to marry them at the show. And then I'll be like, surprise, it's real. I'm a minister.
Wait, I want to talk about the time my dad...
That's a great story. Fuck you.
Well, let me jump back into
Wait, I have to talk about me.
Yeah, that's why I started a fucking podcast.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
That's why I do comedy.
Yeah.
There's nothing more like talking
your
about me.
turn to talk.
So the one of the times at the Shanghai room, I had my dad and uncle come out, and you bring me up calling my dad gay.
I'm the fucking worst person ever. You told me, like, I thought you were, like, just being serious. Thank you. I thought you were, like, being like, hey, this is funny. I think my dad might be gay. I didn't realize
it is funny.
You thought your dad was actually gay and it wasn't, like, something you talked about.
No, yeah, I really think he's
so
gay.
It's the first time your dad has ever seen comedy, and I'm like, up next.
Me do comedy live.
Yeah, your first time your dad's ever seen you do comedy, and I bring you up, and I'm like, coming up to the next stage is one of my best friends. He also thinks his dad's gay. Give it up for Eli Halpern. And that's when he has to get on stage to his dad, just like.
And then I like didn't know what material to do, so I just started talking about how I smoked a bunch of crack. And then my dad and my uncle came, and then afterwards my uncle's like, Eli, you're so talented. I was like, that was not, like, yeah, but not then. So anyways, so I've thought my dad was gay for a long time.
Yeah.
He majored in musical theater in college.
Yep.
He like was on Broadway. He did plays. He hasn't fucked a woman that I know of since my parents had gotten divorced in 2008.
So he cummed in a lady once, and you're here.
Twice. I have a brother.
Oh, yeah. So he probably named him. He's like, this one's Eli, this one's Jake. That's my 2 lady cums.
Pump and dump.
If I have to do a third, it's a daughter.
Yeah, he doesn't like women. He doesn't like kids. He divorced my mom and sent me to boarding school.
Yeah. I need time to fuck dudes.
So anyways... So he moved to Panama, which is dope. He's just living like, just being single, just
trying to get in some men's Panama canals, you know what I'm saying?
He's just like, I'm finally done with you, that fucking whore wife.
Yeah.
I'm
trying to get some canal.
I think my mom just turned him like against women for good. He's like, I'd never want to deal with that shit again. But he always, like, I'll send him videos of me playing music and stuff because he's a really good musician, and we talk on WhatsApp all the time. And he messaged me the other day, and he sends me a video, and he's like, "Hey, I busted out the old harmonica today at the community drum circle or something." I'm like, "Wait, what is this?" So I play the video, and he's jamming on his harmonica next to his dog, and I'm like, "Oh, this is cool." And I hear like a drum beat in the background. The camera pans over, and there's this like old white woman that looks like 70, 80. That looks like she's being held there against her will. And she's like pounding on the drums. And I'm like, this is fucking funny.
Yeah.
And it pans over more. Another old white woman.
Yeah.
And then literally, it's my dad and 7 elderly white women banging on drums. And it's just my dad playing the harmonica. It was the funniest shit I've ever seen.
What did he play? Was he just jamming?
I don't know. Room to Move.
Yeah. I just like...
That one's for the harmonica guys.
Yeah. There's none of those besides your dad. That's your dad's.
I play the harmonica. Pretty good at it.
Yeah, you got those blowing skills from your father. I get it. Yeah. I like doing this with them here.
The audience makes it better, I told you.
Yeah.
I used to have a joke. I just found out my dad's gay, but not only that, both my dads are gay.
Yeah. I think I saw that one on the internet. 2004.
You just talk about how you're fat.
Yeah, no,
anyone can do that who's fat.
Yeah,
which is 80% of America.
I know. I was
your
thinking
jokes are 80% of Americans' jokes.
That's why I'm so good and relatable because they're like, yeah.
Well, that's why I'm so original.
Yeah. Well, okay. No, you are very original. I'll give you that.
You know, people say like you're not alone when you have like problems or whatever. That's offensive to me because I want to be alone in my problems. I want my problems to be better than everyone's.
That's the whitest sentence on the thing ever. like there's no way anyone else would ever say that.
Like if I was born with a spine of boners.
I love those like would you rather questions where it's like would you rather have like shrimp for teeth or dicks for nipples?
Dicks for nipples.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather you could only listen to one song ever again, or you can only watch one movie?
One movie.
One movie.
I need music more than movies.
Yeah.
I can't even get through a movie anymore. I have too much ADHD or just thinking about this shit.
Dude, I've missed like when I could read a book. Like when I was a kid, like I could sit down with a book and be like thoroughly entertained by a book. And now, like if I sit. This is how you spread COVID, is one puff bar at a time, pass between men. We're doing it. Also, I got to remember the camera's up here because I keep looking at myself because that's my favorite thing to look at, and it's not good for y'all, the audience, not the people standing behind the camera.
Let's just look at them the whole time.
No, that's too meta. Why did you get ordained? I know why I did. It's funny.
I don't remember why. I just found out that you could, and I was like, I got to do that. My friend Jacob Gray did it, and he was like, it's $25 on universallifemonastery.com. So immediately I did that, and then I bought a priest outfit.
That's good.
And that's how I met Tasha Rain, actually.
Yeah, I always forget about that because, like, Tasha Rain's a porn star that Eli knows, and have you been in there? You've been in there. So...
Once. It was the worst sexual experience of my life.
Which is so weird. She's professional. How can you be that bad at your job? But we were driving Ron Jeremy.
She needed a director.
We were driving Ron Jeremy to porn.
Who we do not support. He's a fucking rapist.
Yeah.
And he promoted my podcast.
Yeah.
I had to.
No. He said, "Hey, listen to Katzberg's. All right."
He was like, "It's funny."
Yeah.
And he fell asleep like 4 times.
Dude,
and then me and you just carried the rest of the podcast.
So I still remember that was like one of my first experiences in LA is my manager fucking texts me and says, "Hey, Ron Jeremy needs a ride to work. Are any of you available? It pays $50." And I was like, "It pays? Like I'll drive him to it's yeah.
Dante.
Yeah.
Dante. This guy posts like paragraphs a day, multiple paragraphs a day on how Black Lives Matter and racism is bad and how he's a civil rights activist or equal rights activist, whatever the term is today. I think it's equal rights now.
Something.
Civil rights is just like...
I want everyone to have rights.
Yeah, I think
no less.
Rights. Civil rights was when they didn't have rights.
Yeah.
Now it's equal rights. So,
okay.
Anyways, he's just super in your fucking jamming.
Black
people are awesome down your throat. And I was with my buddy Brandon Alt and Gary.
Shout out to B Alt.
In Colorado Springs. And I'm like, you guys remember The Amazing Racist with Ari Shaffir?
Yeah.
How fucking like, that was so fucked up.
Yeah.
Let's put that on. So we put on the free boat rides to Africa video. And they're literally going up to black people like saying like, "Hey, do you want a free boat ride back to Africa?" Like, and Dante is in the back of the video holding up buckets of fried chicken, watermelons, basketballs. And I'm just like, that's fucking Dante.
Which is insane because
I really want to put him on blast, but well, I guess
that,
I am now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I want to like tag him on Facebook.
All 86 of you now know. No, like what's so crazy to me is like one of his biggest credits is that Richard Pryor's last work while he was alive was an episode of Dante's sitcom. So like Dante is like he made his name in comedy on doing black rooms. So to do something like that tasteless is just hilariously dumb.
Well, I think just the fact that he is just being so anti what he used to be is annoying.
I think that a lot of people are that way, though. Like, I feel like the people that are the most adamant about anything are the ones that have something to hide.
That's why I'm pro child porn. Because I don't watch it, and I never did.
Man. Man.
I'm just kidding. I promised myself I was going to stop making those jokes.
I know. And
I've been hanging out with Gary's son, and he's... Okay, that sounds weird.
Jesus Christ.
No, but he's like a great kid, and he's like totally changed my mind. Like, I kind of want a kid now. And I like don't want to murder children anymore.
You gonna make artisanal child porn with your own kid? Like, I want one for the income source.
Listen, no more of that. I said it once. We're not going down that rabbit hole.
It's a very small rabbit hole. I would call it a bunny hole. Jesus.
This is making me hungry for pizza.
Dude, I don't think I can eat again for like several hours. I'm so full.
Pizzagate?
I never
You missed that
got
one?
too much into Pizzagate.
Oh, don't. I cried last time.
Why? You think it's real?
I know it's real.
No.
There's mountains of evidence.
I thought that they like went and looked at the pizza place, and then the pizza place was like, "Yeah, we don't have a basement."
No, dude. Listen.
Like, there's no kids to fuck in a basement. There's no basement.
I've been over this a lot on my own podcast that people are probably sick of hearing about it, and I'm sick of thinking about it. But Pizzagate, the story of Pizzagate was that there's a child sex ring in D.C. That's it. The media turned it into there's a child sex ring in a pizza place.
Pizzagate.
Which was easy to debunk because that's not true.
So the pizza terminology was like the child porn terminologies in between, like the sex trafficking terminology, and then it got all related to the actual
because
Comet
the guy who
Ping Pong
owns
or whatever.
The guy who owns Comet Ping Pong Pizza, James Alefantis, is a huge pedophile. And if you do any type of Googling, it's very
tall clear. Or like a lot of kids? How huge of a pedophile are we talking?
Shut
like
up. Like this one guy did a bunch of research, and then the guy ended up threatening him and his family, and like sending him pictures of his girlfriend and his mom, and he's listed as one of the most powerful men in DC, and all he does is own a pizza shop.
Dude, I would love someday to just like open up my mail and just get like Polaroid photos of my loved ones.
From, you keep doing this podcast, it's gonna happen.
Dude, I still remember, like, one of the most thrilling sets I ever did was right after I got all those death threats for making fun of Kobe.
Oh, yeah.
Because LA took it so seriously.
Someone said they were going to come and shoot you at the bunker.
Someone called the bunker. So the fucking owner of the bunker was in Hawaii on vacation. And I get a call from him at like a random time. He's like, hey, Mike, do you have time to talk? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, last night we got a voicemail in the bunker saying that if we let you perform, they're going to come shoot you. I wanted to let you know. And I was like, oh, so I'm off the show? And he's like, nah, man, you can come. They wouldn't call and say they're going to shoot you if they were going to shoot you. And I was like,
and you're a big fucking target. They're not going to miss.
Yeah,
no one else is in danger.
Yeah, so like I was thinking that, and I was like, it'll be fine. And then I told my roommate and his girlfriend to come. I was like, hey, why don't you guys come to the show? Because he has a gun. So I was like, hey, why don't you come to the show and you can also be security. But I remember getting up to do that show, and like before every show, I have those like pre-show nerves where you're like looking through your set list, like what jokes are funny. And then I remember thinking like, what if this is my last set? What if I bomb and then get shot? Like, what if I go up there and do my jokes and it falls on deaf ears and then someone shoots me? Like, what a nightmare.
What if you bomb and get bombed?
That's fine. They all die. It kills the evidence.
Nashville, Tennessee.
White suicide bomber. And
that
they're
was
like
so
not even
cool.
talking about it. It was cool?
Yeah, dude.
Because he warned people?
I don't know. Yes. It was cool that he warned people.
I need to hear the manifesto. I need to know the reasoning. Because
I need to know so bad.
It's insane to me that you would suicide bomb in an RV with that much explosives to take out telecom in a specific region of Tennessee by blowing yourself up in front of AT&T, but that you wouldn't, and that you would have an announcement come on like, warning, the shit's about to blow up. Don't be close, you'll die. Like he intentionally
you just wanted
to
make an impact without actually hurting anyone?
Yeah, quite fuck.
So, if you guys don't know, there was an RV. Police responded to a shooting, which I'm guessing this guy fired a few rounds off to get people to call the cops. There was a suspicious RV that was had some speakers in it that was saying like in a computer voice. It wasn't a person's voice. I was saying,
"Suck my dick."
Evacuate. There's a bomb. Evacuate. If you can hear this message, there is a bomb. Evacuate the area. And it was doing that for 15 minutes.
We should make that our ringtone.
Boom.
Yeah.
A good ringtone.
Yeah, it'd be a good ringtone.
Yeah. Oh, and they think they found the guy. Because when they said
they said
no one died, 3 people got injured and were not in critical condition.
But there were definite like carbon-based remains.
Not definite. They said that they were.
No, they said they didn't know if they were human, but they knew that it was like some kind of living thing.
No, they said there might be carbon remains. They said there might be human remains.
Yeah.
No, I know the story. They said there might be human remains.
I have terrible vision.
And then it turned out that, well, it didn't turn out. They said that the guy was in the car at the time. But was the guy alive at the time? Did someone kill him and plant him there to distract from some other shit going on? That's what I think that might be happening. And it canceled out. Nobody could call 911. No one could use their phones that had AT&T. And
that's what I'm saying. I think it was like
I think it could have been a cover-up for another heist. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just watched Logan Lucky not that long ago. Great fucking movie. But they pull off a bank heist and like NASCAR shit. But there's like a distraction so they can pull off the heist. And that's when I saw the Nashville bombing. I was like, oh, they definitely blew this up so they could rob banks in the area where it knocked out cell communication. That makes the most sense to me. And if
or something,
if you rob like 10 small credit unions in rural Tennessee, like you could get $250K from each of those. You have $2.5 million and you just have to blow up a bomb in Nashville.
I hear the average bank robbery is $10K.
$10K, okay.
Yeah. That's why they don't hire security guards.
FDIC
that's why they hire the greeters.
$250.
That's why they hire the greet. It is, but that's why they hire the greeters because they get paid the same as tellers. And you ever walk into a Tom Segura has a bit about it. The guy who's just in the lobby for no reason.
Yeah,
and he's just like, "Hey, how's it going?" They're supposed to like disarm you, so they're friendly, so that you'll change your mind if you want to rob the place, because it's more expensive to get an armed security guard than it is to get robbed.
Every time I see a armored truck with guys picking up like a cash from somewhere, I always think, I bet I could beat him up. Like
every time I see,
I want to rob him.
Every time I see a bank teller at the front welcoming me, I'm like, I want to rob this place.
Yeah. You made me do social interactions. I want to murder you.
There was a guy in Hollywood earlier this year when I still lived there that was walking out of like an AutoZone with a bag of cash in an armored truck, and I was like, he's got money, let's get him. And he looked over and I was like, and I was just like, I'm just kidding, man. He did not think that was funny.
Obviously,
He did not find that funny at
Yeah,
all.
his worst fear, probably not a laughing matter.
Hey, you know what he signed up for.
Yeah. How do I sign up for that job though? Because I'll carry cash. I don't give a shit. I won't steal that much.
I don't know, man. Go apply online. That guy looked like he was not as smart as you.
It's weird. I've been applying for jobs because of the pandemic, and you have to have money to live, apparently. And I've been applying for jobs, and it keeps coming back on my background check that I have a felony for possession of a controlled substance. And I'm like, you guys, it's just weed. And they're like, it's Texas. That's not a felony. I'm like, no, it was literally, I bought it with a debit card. It was a wax pen I bought in California, and then Dripping Springs. I think I talked about this on here already. But
Yeah, we went through the whole story.
yeah,
It was a good story.
fuck the police. Someone
Not
was.
white enough.
I know. Someone was explaining to me the other day that, like, defunding the police, most police are on the side of it. Like, most actual law enforcement officers are on the side of it because
Gary, what do you think about
defunding
that?
isn't taking all the money away from the police. It's reallocating funds so that police can just do police stuff and not have to do all the other bullshit.
Training and shit like that.
Yeah, like Newark just released a study today that they had increased a de-escalation process in Newark, and because of that, there were not a single shot fired in 2020 by the Newark PD. That's awesome. I feel like the Newark PD used to just shoot guns for fun. It's Newark, New Jersey. That's a shithole.
Yeah.
Like, they shoot everyone there on site. So, like,
Well,
look at that. Look at that. Something I said can be Googled. That's a first. We should celebrate that on the show. I said something and I was right.
well, let's see.
Fuck yeah.
Gary, can you do a quick skim of that article? I can't read that from here.
Yeah, it's got letters.
Charlie, read the article.
As Attorney General Gilbert Grewal rolls out a de-escalation
That
program
is his name. You pronounced that right.
that puts strict limits on how police interact with citizens, the state's largest city becomes an example in 2020 of how the rules could be a success. Public Safety Director Anthony F. Ambrose said on December 30th that thanks to his department's de-escalation program, no Newark police officer fired a shot during 2020. This is proof positive that our de-escalation training is highly effective. Our officers have embraced de-escalation training and are actively employing this resource when engaging with the community. Ambrose said in a statement, our training also plays a huge role in Newark having zero violence during this year's protests of the murder of George Floyd. Community and police work together to ensure that the non-Newark residents who came here to protest didn't initiate any violence in our city. It's fucking great. So they're doing more
So they're
training.
liars.
That's what I literally just said.
Wait, who's lying about what? I don't get it.
They're lying about not firing any shots. I
Do
mean,
you think they just used all the de-escalation funding money to buy silencers?
oh yeah, for sure.
We didn't fire a single shot. No one heard it. It didn't happen. Do you know you can tape a
If there's one thing I don't trust, it's the police.
Yeah.
If my house was getting robbed by the Bloods, I would call the Crips.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like a more effective way. But also, did you know that Crips is C-R-I-P-S? That's how it's spelled?
Yes.
Well, I didn't. And so for a long time, I've been spelling it C-R-Y-P-T-S. Like the Crypt Keeper. I was like, they're the Crypts. They're pretty cool.
You know what CRIP stands for?
Cripple?
Community Restoration in Progress.
Really?
Yeah, look up the history of the Crips, Charlie.
There's no...
What does Blood stand for?
Big lots of organizational development.
So we're pro Crip, although we're both wearing red.
Yeah, I know, but only on the left side. Yeah, that's the Crip side. Dude, I wonder how much crossover there is between the gay handkerchief community and gang members. Someone has to have done a joke about this by now, but there's a whole thing in the gay community about wearing different colored handkerchiefs to symbolize what
didn't know
you're
about
into.
this.
Yeah, dude, I wish so much.
You have to be gay.
I know, it's so insane. I don't get why I'm not. Like I keep trying, but no,
Well, you did try to marry me.
yeah. Wait, did I?
Your wife is very similar to me.
Oh yeah. I was just agreeing that I probably tried to marry you when drunk. I was like, hey, let's get married. It'll be funny. Like,
You don't have health insurance, or I would.
yeah. She does. So pretty good. Community revolution in progress. Yeah, we're just looking at community, but still, that's pretty cool. So that's why Snoop is big into that. He likes community restoration,
No, it's just where he grew up.
revolution.
You just joined the gang on your block,
Yeah, that's why I'm Methodist.
right? Yeah.
Family, they don't have to like beat you in. So,
Yeah, they do. Your
That's-
family didn't beat you?
not like that, just verbally. Like, you'll never amount to anything. We're
Well,
beating
that's why
you
you're
in.
so entitled.
Look at you now.
I know. I'm on a podcast. Yeah, fuck. That sucks. That does suck. I really wish that I would get to watch my funeral.
I wish my dad beat me more.
Yeah. If I have a kid, I'm going to beat him to greatness. Jackson style.
You know DeRay Davis?
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
He doesn't come up that much. But he had an Instagram post of a picture of him next to a kid that looks like him. And he's like, just found out I have a kid. I'm going to stay out of his life because the struggle will make him a stronger person.
I've always said that, like, if you wanted to make the greatest, like, performance artist of all time, you just have, like, the worst possible parents. Just beat that into him. Like, you have two parents that are good performing artists and then just neglect the shit out of their child.
That's what happened with Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And all of the Jacksons.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the recipe. Like, if you want to make another Freddie Mercury, like, we need another one eventually.
You know he's Pakistani?
I don't think I did know that.
It was in the movie, too.
I didn't watch the movie. I don't like Queen.
Oh, it was a great movie.
I don't care for Bohemian Rhapsody as a song. I understand he's very talented, but like every time that song comes on, I just want to punch whatever white girl with glasses starts singing along.
Yeah, I can see how white girls could ruin that for you.
They ruin everything. But I married one because they're the best. We were talking about this. You were gonna be the only person at my wedding if you had been able to catch a flight.
Yeah. Well, I was able to. I had a lot of shit to do that day.
It was a
Very
sneaky
important
wedding because we were.
Yeah, I was going to be the ordained minister. And I was like, fuck, can you wait literally 2 days? You're like, nope.
Oh, the woman that did marry us name was Nature, though, so that's pretty cool. And her husband was Obama's photographer, so we got some pretty cool pictures. But we were the first wedding.
Are they going to reveal that Britney's actually a man?
Yeah. That'd be cool. She's my Michelle Obama.
Have you heard all those conspiracy theories?
Yeah, dude.
Michelle Obama's actually a tranny? Like,
Yeah, dude, it's so crazy to me that, like, everybody's like, yeah,
People
Michelle
say it.
Obama, mother of Sasha and Malia, she's a dude. Like, because she has strong arms. And then I've seen all the Photoshops where they give her, like, a hefty Adam's apple, and they're like, see, that's
this is her in 1968, and she's just like a fucking buff dude with a shaved head.
all of the pictures are always, it's just like Barack Obama in like a stereotypical Kenyan place, and then just Michelle Obama just ripped out of her fucking mind. It's like, this is where they used to be.
Or that one where Obama's wearing a turban and it has a beard.
Also,
and making him look like Osama.
how cool and progressive would it be if she was? And we were all just like, yeah, we already had our first man. He was our first lady. Like,
that would just give each side more ammo.
I don't think either side, just pulling up the Adam's apple. I don't know, man. That's so stupid. Oh, fuck. Well,
How much time are we at?
yeah, I think we're pretty much good.
52 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's wrap it up.
let's wrap it up.
That was fun.
You got anything else?
Follow Giggleboys podcast on Instagram. Subscribe to this.
Faust Media.
Faust Media. Give us attention and shit so we can
Dad
make money
Spin,
someday.
he has nipples. He keeps showing them. You can follow him if you want to see nipples. Yeah, you guys probably couldn't see that he was showing us his nipples, and you also don't know who that is. But yeah,
Soon to come.
soon to come.
We're gonna get him on Casburgers.
Yeah. Well, outside of you saying that you are pro child porn, I think this went really well.
I think that was the best part.
All right.
See you in a couple days.
Next time.